I welcome you to my personal shopping cart. Why are we spending so much money? Because perimenopause can last anywhere from 4 to 14 years. It can come with dozens of disruptive and sometimes terrifying symptoms. When you throw in a dose of medical gaslighting, especially anxiety, the Mayo Clinic estimates an annual $46.6 billion impact on the U.S. economy alone due to menopause symptoms. In this life phase and age group, we are also more likely to experience cardiovascular disease, lose the workforce, get divorced, and die by suicide. But it doesn't have to be this way. I've built and launched a public-facing perimenopause and menopause resource directory that's live at menopause.ai. Then I have a flagship prototype in private beta testing. There is a ritual experience built into the prototype. Come to me for a live demo afterwards. This includes a chatbot named Flash, your perimenopause bestie, for healthcare practitioner search, support for partners, community, personalized insights with symptoms tracking, and more. Many people, many companies are building in this space, but lots of these have invasive privacy policies and onboarding experiences. They lack direction, they lack the design, and they lack leadership and founder teams with direct lived experience. Menopause is a value prop is going to be an inspiration. It's lovable, authentic, bold, incredible brand. Eventually we'll have a really strong data mode as well. We're building for clinically meaningful outcomes, not just. McKinsey Health Institute estimates an $120 billion to $350 billion market size for the treatment of menopause symptoms. So the good news from an investment perspective is not just me spending money in place. There's a whole lot of money flowing through this pipeline. This is not a niche market. Right now, I believe that patients most acutely feel the pain of perimenopause symptoms. So I'm launching with a very intentional consumer-first strategy with a subscription model, short free trial period, long-term therapeutic place as well. I'm aiming for an MVP launch in early 2026. In the meantime, I'll continue to build healthcare partnerships, healthcare ecosystem relationships. I'll build out a credible content pipeline, practitioner directory. I'll iterate on the prototype and continue to build community. I'm wobbling a lot, sorry. Really energy. Recently, the menopause trademark was approved by the USPTO examining attorney. It will be launched in the Gazette on September 30th. Fingers crossed, no one says it's going to be harmful to them and it will move forward. I've been hyper-focused on building for the last many months, but in the last 18, I've represented menopause on Capitol Hill twice. Thank you. I've been through 3 accelerator programs, and most recently through CBX in Boulder. I've also talked with, interviewed, and surveyed more than 80 people during this time. It's just me for now, but we are in the age of unicorn solo-founded companies. We don't intend to stay a solo founder, but I've been working with engineering teams in various capacities for more than 20 years. I am super scrappy, incredibly creative, technically minded, and obsessed with delighting customers. This is my third business ownership adventure. I have operationalized AI tooling that has allowed me to much more rapidly do all the jobs, and that's something that would continue as I build a team and company that AI-first approach. Prize money. My main goals here are to mitigate primary risks by minimizing liabilities, so addressing those investor objections early on. And a lot of that's going to go to advisory fees. So that's regulatory, legal, clinical, and security advisory services, as well as content development. I need to better understand the software's medical device landscape from an FDA perspective to make sure it's not going to take me 3 years to launch. I need to make sure that I'm designing for data privacy and security up front. I want to get ahead of being found by answer engines, ChatGPT. So that's, and then a few other things as well. I've got some asks, but I would love to focus now on finding the across the board.
You say you're a third-time buyer. Can you tell me a little bit more about your previous ventures, successes, as a serial entrepreneur yourself? They're not all successes, so that doesn't look bad, but tell me more about you and why you're taking this on, which I think it's awesome for your doing. So I just want to hear a little bit more about you.
Thank you. I think entrepreneurial and entrepreneurial spirit runs in me, but first, Inovation was just a photography business, so ran that for 7 years, started in my mid-20s, it was a side thing mostly. Second was I was an independent consultant, so by day, I am a product management consultant, so supported my family for 3 years before wanting to leave what felt like a fairly transactional situation. I've had other side projects and whatnot along the way.
Okay, and then first one, Love Flash. Let's see, I was just seeing your use of funds, $1,000 is not going to go far by accident.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you thought about anything like affiliate programs or any way to get providers and content creators who have a reach already.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my biggest questions is how are you going to get providers on your platform? Because that's incredible.
Yeah, I've been looking at licensing models through Harvard Health, through New York Times, also got notes out to learn more about pricing from that perspective. And also about budget for get blog posts for people with audience as well. That wouldn't speak to the medical credibility part, but it would be audience building.
You mentioned you wanted to get a chat GPT. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we've got search engine optimization, and there are strategies that people are starting to employ to be found by things like ChatGPT and Claude based on citations, based on how your content is structured. So that's where I want to spend time, because based on what I'm reading, small startups, early stage startups without huge budgets can still compete in that space, kind of like, you know, how you blog 15 years ago.
Okay, so you're gonna, excuse me, start B2C and then B2B. Is your model a subscription model targeting probably a specific audience globally?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Are you offer like a family just subscription rate? So for like people who need therapy or people who need to go in and like ask questions or help?
Partners are welcome.
Or is it like?
There's a section for partners. But yeah, some of the period tracking apps out there have partner subscriptions where partners can access and know when certain things are happening, so they might avoid certain things. But yeah. Did that answer your question?
Sort of, yeah. And then what's your plan for like B2B? What's your strategy for that?
Yeah, so I think there's, first of all, women historically and, you know, other marginalized communities have been left out of a lot of the research in general. So I think there's an opportunity here to build a large language model potentially down the road. I also think there's an opportunity. I, for example, can't right now log into Anthem and search for perimenopause or menopause, and that's probably true for most of the providers. And that means that you see somebody who doesn't necessarily have education, maybe they only had 2 hours of education on perimenopause in medical school, and so you can end up down this path of, for me, MRI, pelvic ultrasound, 40 different blood tests last year, only to find out I'm probably hormonal. I knew that, you didn't listen to me. And so the insurance companies are spending a lot of money unnecessarily, yes, to rule out the things that are going to kill you. But if you're of a certain age, you have certain symptomology, it needs to be part of the conversation and it needs to not be dismissed. So if I can solve this problem of finding menopause providers better than anybody else, I think there's an API play there, potentially long-term.
So to that end, I see this as a clearinghouse of information, essentially. How will you ensure that all different perspectives and viewpoints on how to approach this time of life are represented?
Yeah, I think that's in having diversity of partnerships and voices and lived experiences, and making sure that's a priority.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.